Electra Storm, and Carmency Mesquite. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm very pleased to see you, and I'm also very touched. I'm moved by your presence and by your dedication to come on tonight. A little housekeeping. We know that this is for entertainment purposes only. Sometimes I'm actually pretty entertaining. So that's for the purposes of YouTube. This is for entertainment purposes only. Oh, hey, baby. Hey, Conscious. Hey. See? This Davyon from Consciouz TV is going to be my guest. We're actually hoping that we can get a time together tomorrow, because I want to discuss a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And it will have to do with the LGBTQIA community, and the treatment that they receive within the Black community. I mean, overall, that the gay folks, lesbians, bisexual, men and women, transsexual, queer, those who don't have that don't associate with any particular gender. I mean, I'm still learning. It's a conversation, I think. Hi, my Duchess. Hi, Kate Blue. Oh, all right. He's available tomorrow. So, yes, we're going to do a special petty party tomorrow for him to come on. I love this young man. I found him when he was speaking on spiritual things with very interesting man named Truth Seeker and Dr. Larry Reed. That it was a brilliant conversation. And he is, to me, he has a doctorate in reading, so he can read your ass down to your fucking corpuscles, baby. So you don't want to get on the wrong side of him. He's amazing with that, and I always love it, because the people that he reads absolutely deserve it. So, hey, I want to have the discussion because I wanted to be in education. I wanted to bring some understanding, particularly as it relates to the good Christian children. Hi, Doreen, the ones in the church and who are still following what I call the dogma of the church. And I have a few things that I want to bring to those who read the Holy Bible. I feel that there's some lessons that they absolutely choose to ignore. But anyway, that's part, and he's bringing on two very special guests tomorrow, because there has been a large conversation about transsexual women versus cis hetero women. I don't know why there has to be a versus at all, first of all. I don't understand why everything seems to have to be about some kind of competition or something like that. I don't get it. People to me are people, and full disclosure, I have loved both men and women. I have one of my friends called me a functioning voluptuary. I like that title, and I stand in it. So I'm really excited to have him on, because I think this is a conversation that we need to have with, our community has a whole lot of stuff about it that's fucked up. And, we just got a whole lot of things internally that that are real messed up. And one of the things is how we treat a good old days. He's funny. Yes, I'm telling you, if you get an opportunity, please go to Consciouz TV, Consciouz TV. He has some very interesting topics. So it's not that you have to always agree with him, but he always brings a compelling argument, I should say, for lack of a better word, or a compelling discussion, because he does not, unless you're being disrespectful and just totally ugly, he doesn't do he's willing to listen to what anyone has to say. But I know that the people that come here are very respectful, and I expect that you will be when we get on tomorrow. So again, this is for entertainment purposes only. We have a few things. We've had quite an exciting month. Not only is it Pride Month, but we had Juneteenth signed into law as a national holiday. For those of you that don't know what Juneteenth is celebrated on June 19th as a day when the slaves in Texas, I think Galveston to be exact, were notified that they were free. But of course, we know that was short-lived, because during Reconstruction, Black men were subject to the peonage laws here in the South, which means that even though a Black man couldn't walk on the streets, he could walk along the train tracks. They were allowed to carry weapons. If a white man approached you with a rifle to your chest and said, "Mr. So-and-so say you owe him for a chicken you stole," you were taken in to their custody, so to speak, and you were forced to work. That's where we see all these images of Black men in black and white striped clothing, breaking up rocks and doing whatever they had to do in order to someday get their freedom, which never did come. The thing is, there were lots of, I got thrown out. Well, I didn't actually get thrown out of the bar. A friend of mine thought we might need to leave the bar in case a fight jumped off. But I remember hey, Sandra Nevins, your birthday is on Juneteenth. All right. There was a white guy at the bar, the bartender, who thought he was very smart, and he was talking about how much George Washington loved his slaves and that he would have set them free, but where were they going to go? That really made my blood boil. I said, motherfucker, you act like we didn't know the concept of freedom. We knew what freedom was, and many of us would rather be a dead slave than to remain in bondage to some person who was abusing us. Women were often raped. Those that had babies by the master they lived in the house. They were called the house niggas. The ones in the field were the field niggas. And even though they might have lived in the house, they were still slaves to the master and his wife. And as a matter of fact, there are a lot of children that were killed by these white women. Many deaths of children occurred. Hello, Sandra Nevins, lovely ladies, and I'm glad. Happy birthday to you belatedly. I hope you enjoyed it. So that happened this month. We have Pride Month. In Georgia, when I came to Atlanta, I noticed that there was Black Pride that was celebrated around the Memorial Day holiday, and then there was this whole month of Pride. I think what has happened though, is that the real Pride with the parades and all of that was moved to around October 9th or so. But happy Pride to all of you who belong to the community, and just happy Pride, period. You don't have to belong to the community. We also had an education. White people learned about the Tulsa bombing in a neighborhood within the Greenwood section of Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was thriving. Hey, Sue Bird. And the thing about it was that one of the reasons it was bombed was because all of the free labor left. All of the tradesmen left. All of the people that were doing the work left and formed their own communities, and white people would have to come to their community and now have to pay for the services they had previously gotten free. So what did they do? They bombed and killed over 300 people. They left several hundred homeless. The legacy of those who are the descendants of those that were killed in that bombing was robbed. They have been going in for reparations, but I think they don't. I think they just deserve what's coming to them. The millions of dollars that their families were deprived of based on the fact that some white folks didn't want them to have a community. And it didn't only just happen in Tulsa. It happened in Elaine, Arkansas. 200 black farmers and their families were killed. It happened in Rosewood, Florida. It happened in Knoxville, Tennessee. It happened in Wilmington, Virginia. It happened all Oconee, Florida. It happened all over this country, where thriving communities of black people were killed because white people hated them for being free and being able to thrive. And you know what? A lot of the reasons they got angry was because a black man was accused of touching or violating a white woman somehow. It didn't matter if it was true or not. It was just a good excuse. And some of the ugly bitches needed to be glad anybody was looking at them, because their husbands sure weren't. They were sneaking off, getting them a black girl, and not because she wanted it, but because they wanted it. Black women have never been treated just like our men. We all know collectively that we have only been thought of as animals. Black women particularly haven't been the queen of the home until recently. We were belly warmers. We were there for the service of the master. Sometimes we had to sleep with the master to keep him off of our men. And nowadays, even black men don't have a whole lot of respect for us. A New Jersey school teacher called Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, a streetwalker. So it doesn't matter how accomplished you are. It doesn't matter how educated you are. It doesn't matter how excellent you are at what you do. You are just a streetwalker. Now he's apologizing because his ass got busted. He needs to be fired, especially if he's got black children in his class. He needs to go. Nobody gets sorry until they get busted, because he believes that bullshit. And what is even more hurtful is that our black men fall right into that same category. I want to give some big ups to Simone Biles and Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson has now been deemed the fastest woman in America. And Simone Biles is killing it in gymnastics. She was cheated out of her true scores because she raised the bar for what has to happen in gymnastics by actually successfully performing a Yurchenko double. It was something that no one had been able to conquer, but she did. And as a result, she pissed off the judges. Why? Because she did what black people do all the time: raise the fucking bar. We've done it in athletics. We've done it in music. We've done it in architecture. We've done it in engineering. There are a number of black men and women who are top executives in Fortune 500 companies. We have had to raise the bar. Every black child in this country gets to talk about how we have to be better than our white peers, that we have to excel to be accepted. And I'm here to tell you, as someone with 3 degrees, that it don't matter. That there's always going to be some condescending motherfucker who's going to talk to you like you don't know shit. I once had a headhunter tell me that I shouldn't let them know how smart I was. I said, well, then you don't need to send me there. I'm not going to be hired in a place where I have to dumb down so that somebody, just for a gig. Fuck that, Anyway, big ups to Simone Biles and Shay Karia Richardson is a gay woman. We also had a football player, Carl Nassib, come out as gay. I bet we're going to be hearing a lot more about that, because there are many that are in professions where we don't think they should be, that excel at these things, and yet they've probably been told that they can't reveal or they can't come out because it'll hurt their career. I commend both of them for living in their truth. What is wrong with us? What makes us think that we have something to say about how somebody else lives their lives? My rule is, if I ain't invited to the party, it ain't none of my fucking business. I'm not, and Christians, the good Christians, they are so preoccupied with sex. See, I learned a long time ago that all the mothers in the church wearing those white dresses and with those little white napkin type things on their head knew how to lift those white skirts up. They were some of the biggest hoes in the church. Yeah. Good old Christian pussy. And I actually, when I visited my home for a college vacation, I was actually pinned up against the wall by one of the good sisters in the church. She was pretty now. Don't get me wrong. She was very pretty. But I wasn't going there with her. I had enough fucking rumors swirling about my ass. I have a troll. Well, who's a troll killer? If they in here, they might need they just want a little attention. And fuck you, troll, okay? Just fuck you. That's how I feel about it. If you're in here and you think you're going to call names and talk shit, we will banish you to the garbage can from which thou camest. Okay? All right. So now we got Juneteenth, a national holiday. I'd like to see something further. Economic closure, the economic equality. It's nice to have a holiday. You notice that even the toxic people in the Senate didn't want to. Only one that came out was Ron Johnson with his down low ass. He probably didn't get his daily OMI, oral meat injection. So he just stupid. He was the only one that wanted to raise some hell. But he could even get people like the Texas cat, Cornyn, and that insidious, slimy Cruz. He couldn't get any of them to come with him on that. So yay. Yay. All right. Guess what? Georgia's being sued. God damn it. And they need to be. If our vote wasn't so important, it wouldn't mean so much to these white children and some of the coons that have joined them. They wouldn't try so hard to keep us from voting, you see, because they saw us turn out for President Obama, and they saw us turn out in Georgia and when Cobb County, a totally red county, went blue, white people got nervous. I was actually invited to dinner or for a luncheon by the polling people that I was working for at the time. And I thought we were going to like a fine restaurant. We ended up going to the Cracker Barrel, okay? Oh, God. And there was sadness all over the land. I might have been the only Democrat in the crew, at least the one that admitted it. Much sadness was over the land, child. They were nervous, wondering if Perdue won. No, he didn't win. And we're going to get behind Warnock. And for them that think that by cutting up these redistricting and all of this garbage gerrymandering, look, my people are excellent on the get over, on the get through, on the get around, or the get under. We got a plan. And no matter what you do, we're going to show up and show out again. You will no longer treat us as if we don't matter. You will no longer, for you, Ted Cruz, I got some, you know, if I was your wife and you had let that, I don't even want to say his name. You let 45 talk about me the way you allowed him, you would be visiting, you would get no more pussy, no more coochie. You would have to pay for it, or you would be visiting with Miss Palm and her 5 daughters. You would not be in my bed, stupid bastard. And I have a question for you. Why is it when we speak up about for ourselves, when we with this idea of critical, what is it? Critical race thinking or whatever the fuck it is. Why is it when we want to talk about our history in this country, you have the nerve to compare it to being racist and worse than the KKK? Look, son, white folks are the architects of racism. You have always placed yourself above any other people on the planet, even though you are the minority. Because every other country in this world is filled with people with some color in their skin, some melanated people. But through vicious and heinous attacks and just taking shit, you have black people were also, the Venus Revolution came about because of Sarah Bartman. She was called the Venus Hottentot. And she was called that because of her glorious gluteus maximus. It's actually, it's not a medical condition. It's an African thing. It's called steatophagia. And that means that we have excess adipose tissues on our asses, our hips, our thighs, and on our bellies a little bit. And that's what gives us these curves. She was thought by the brilliant doctors of the time that she was the missing link between man and ape. And they called her the Venus Hottentot, not because they thought about Venus as a planet of beauty and love. It was tongue in cheek, because to them, she wasn't pretty at all. But if she had remained in Cape Town, if she had remained with her tribe, the Khoi people, she would be a queen. She didn't know at the time of her death, when nobody gave a shit about her after she'd been used up, that she would be a fashion icon. That's when all the women in France and in England ever began to wear bustles, and they wanted to get those hoop skirts that made their hips wide. They wanted what she had, much like today, except now you can go to a surgeon and get it. Yes. When I was speaking about Simone and Sha'Carri, some black men came out and had something to say about their hair. You know, I'm so sick of black men having so much to say about our hair. When your ass was squeezed out by a black woman. Black women have been doing things to their hair for centuries. We've had braids and beads. We've made wigs. We know how to straighten. As a matter of fact, some of the slaves even straightened and curled their mistress's hair. We've always done things with our hair. And when you go to Africa, and even when you watch some African movies, you see a lot of the women are wearing wigs. Some of them not real nice looking wigs, but they wearing wigs. So black women have always had done things with our hair. And I'm sick of niggas thinking it's all right for them to say something about it. Hell, Sha'Carri they want to talk about the color of her hair. Well, so what? It ain't none of your fucking business. Her girl likes it. Her woman likes it. I think a woman might have even picked it out. She don't give a shit about you anyway. She ain't trying to be with you. Your ass will probably out of breath just getting into your car. Shut the fuck up. If you were an athlete and you had to train the way they have to train, we know when water hits our hair that it changes its texture. I don't care how much perm and shit you got in it. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of being Black. I'm an unapologetic Black woman. I love being a Black woman. I love it. I make no apologies for defending my own. It's not because I hate anybody. I don't. And I'm not going to use that corny line that, I got white friends. I do. I love them. They will go to the wall for me. But we have serious conversations. I see we got 18 people from 21. So somebody didn't like what I was talking about, I guess. I don't know if I need any mods. I think some of them decided not to come because they didn't think it was. I noticed Connie Brown and a few others that used to come, Cappy's mom and all of them, when Johnny and Adrian were on, they all came over, but I guess they don't see any reason to come over because there's not usually enough people for them to have to be here for. But I'm thankful for the people that do come, and I know that in time, if I don't give up and if I keep pressing forward, I know that this channel is going to attract more people, especially if you're liking and subscribing and sharing. I understand I'm not for everybody. I'm not trying to be for everybody. I never have been in my entire life. I never have been. So this is nothing new for me. This is nothing new. Had a gig last weekend, and let me tell you something. It was so good to be up and to be singing. And now that the weather is nice here, and there is there are going to be lots of outdoor concerts and stuff. I mean, I'm excited about being able to sing. Everybody had to prove that they had been vaccinated or tested or both. There was a small select crowd, and we got more work out of it. So yay! Oh! I'm so happy about that. The audience was wonderful, Electra Storm. They were glad to see me, and I was equally as happy to see them. Well, now, let's talk about a few little politics. Zaddy is getting ready to do his revenge tour. Somebody needs to stop him because he's getting more and more unhinged. He's getting more and more angry. And I don't see it ending. I just think that someone needs to medicate him, and not with Adderall, because he's off the chain, and I don't see that he is going to he's going to be any better. I really don't. I think he's probably going to go all the way over the edge. And I'm wondering, what does Kirsten Cinema only have that one little garment that she wears, that little pink top and that little skirt, and she walks with a limp. Does anybody know anything about why she's walking with a limp? Did you notice that? Can somebody tell me, did she hurt her leg or what's going on with her? And Joe Manchin, I guess he pulled his head out of his ass long enough to understand that there weren't going to be any Republicans who were going to come with him on anything. I guess he was absent from the room when Mitch McConnell said his sole focus is to stop Joe Biden. I got news for you, bitch. You badger's ass with some eyes and breath like the dingleberries hanging. You change rules in the Senate as often as you change them skid mark panties you wear. So don't try to act like you just so incensed. Because really, I don't think, intuitively, I don't think your ass is going to ever be Senate Majority Leader again. You had your reign of terror. It's over, boo. Go home. And you and that fentanyl dealing wife of yours figure out what your next move is going to be for entertainment purposes. Only you too. Oh, and my music guest, for those of you who may be over 40 or maybe just like classic music, there was a group called Hiroshima that had some beautiful, they fused Asian music with jazz and came with some very interesting music and sounds. Well, the keyboard player and I are friends that go back to when I lived in Hawaii. Kimo Cornwell, one of the finest keyboard players and finest human beings I've ever met. So we are getting a date together when he can come on and we can play some of his music. I just need to figure out how I can play it without it sounding warped or garbled or anything. I'm really excited about it. You know, when I lived in Hawaii, it was some of the best times of my life. And I don't know, I get a feeling that I may either go back for a visit, and the last time I visited, my ass didn't come back for about 10 years. I don't know. I get a feeling someone that I met says she keeps seeing me on a beach. So perhaps that's what she's saying. I loved it there. I love the music. I love the people. I just love being there. It felt like home. I didn't miss no snow. I didn't miss, well, the rains of course came, you know, but I just loved being there. It felt really like I was at home. I don't know if any of you even paid attention, but I noticed when Boris Johnson was speaking at the G7 was it? He talked about America and their shared Anglo legacy or heritage. It's interesting to me that his ass didn't share their shared legacy of slavery. He didn't bring that up, but I guess that might have been like too much truth. It's critical race theory. That's what I had a shot of tequila, so forgive me, and I'm going to have another one. Doesn't Boris Johnson look like he gets his hair done by a fucking raccoon or something? Like something just jumps on his damn head and just starts scratching around. Huh. He's not cute. And his hairdo does him no. I guess sometimes when you're not cute, I guess you have to try to do your best with what you got. So, Boris, I ain't mad at you for working with what you got. Well, we also got Chauvin, 22.5 years in prison. I think he knew it was coming. I think he understood that when he was found guilty. I think he knew his lawyers were going to do the best they can to see if he'd get a new trial, trying to blame it on the media, et cetera, et cetera. But I think he knew. It didn't come as a surprise to him. And for his mother to get up and talk about she's losing her son and that he wasn't a racist, ma'am, he got that shit from you. He heard about it and lived it because that's what y'all taught in your household. So yeah, he's a racist and so is your ass. And while you're talking about losing your son, you could go visit him in prison. George Floyd, Tamir Rice, Sandra Blunt, Ahmaud Arbery, Philip Castile, and the list goes on and on and on. Those people, they lost their sons too and their daughters. Breonna Taylor, they'll never get an opportunity to see them again. So boo fucking who, okay? And even if he appeals and whatever, he's got so much legal shit, civil cases coming at him. It's gonna be a while. He had his reign of terror, so now he has to pay. Isn't that the way the justice system works? When you do the crime, you got to do the time. Yes. And then I often wondered when Officer Sicknick's wife or some of his relatives were going to speak. His mother went to Congress, and you know those cowards. Yeah, I heard Jaconda. Yeah, I heard it, and you're right. That's what I'm saying. He learned that shit from her. So she can't. She's a racist. He's sadistic as well because he had a look on his face like he was enjoying that shit. Plus, he had 17 plus other complaints against him. But the only reason anybody said anything this time is because it was caught on a camera. Thank God for camera phones. Thank God. Now there are places where they're trying to make it illegal for you to turn your phone on when you see somebody, a cop doing something bad. No, that's not going to work. We're going to film your ass every time because this George Floyd is the one that you know, we were told when Rodney King got his ass beat not to believe what you see. And the cops that did that were tried in Simi Valley, which was where every cop in LA lived. So, yeah, anyway, Officer Sicknick's wife has spoken. When his mother went to speak with the Republican Congress, they wouldn't even see her. Those cowards. They wouldn't even see her. You know why? It's because they don't want to have to look at her and have to explain to her why they aren't saying anything. Why they didn't honor the policemen that saved their worthless lives. They didn't want to see that because then they couldn't lie anymore about it being, oh, these people were just here. They were here just touring the White House and having a picnic. Well, you can call a race ride a fucking Friday night fish fry. You don't understand white rage? Isn't that what the insurrection was? Oh, you tried to say it was Black Lives Matter, but you know what? That was some hellified makeup. If that was, it's just beyond the pale. How fucking stupid these people are. How weak they are. Opening Trump's butt cheeks and smelling his shitty ass. I'm wondering if somebody sticks a straw in it and gets a direct injection. What is it about this man that has made such cowards of them? And I think there's more to it than we know. And I really think the reason that they are against this, they don't want to have a commission to look into what happened is because there was somebody in the house who made it possible for these people to get in. They got into areas of the White House that even people who worked on the Hill for years didn't know how to get into. So, yeah. We're going to find out some things. It's just unfortunate that it takes time and that we have to be patient. I've run out of patience. I admit it. So I want to say that my hands have gotten better. I guess the medicine has taken the intense pain away and some of the numbness away. Now it feels like minor numbness and some itching. It feels more like an itch than a pain. So I'm thankful for that. Gosh, I tell you. As fabulous as I am, I too have health issues. I'm just kidding. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the collapse of that building in South Florida and the 5 lives that have transitioned and the 150 plus who have not been found and whose families are holding out hope that they will be found. You know, for me, when I woke up to that news, I was grieved. I really was, because we're going to find out that there were people are going to start pointing fingers at each other about the structural deficiencies that were in that building. It's going to be a whole lot of finger pointing. Cheap materials, cheap labor, all of that is going to come out. However, what it does is put me in such thankfulness, because no matter what may be going on in our lives, we woke up today with the precious breath of life within the God in our lungs. No matter how painful the use of our limbs, our minds are, functioning. We woke up today. I don't think that anybody who went to sleep in that building last night dreamt that they wouldn't be here today. So just for a moment, I just want to, just for a moment of silence, I just want to acknowledge that I grieve with those who have lost loved ones, that I pray for their strength during this time, because they're really going to need it. And I know there are those who don't know that prayer, they probably don't. I don't know how you feel. I know that prayer works. I know that when I've had to cry through tears, that at some point I receive some peace and some comfort. I know prayer works. And I don't know if there are going to be any way to help those who may need help burying their dead. I don't know. But I would ask you all that when you lay down tonight, that you thank God that you woke up this morning, that your loved ones are safe. It kind of brings all of the moaning and groaning and complaining that we may have into perspective, because we woke up today. Amen. So, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, let's see. Let's read some comments. People and pictures are speaking up already. That's Sandra Nevins. Global warming may cause more to collapse. Wasn't there a bridge that collapsed outside of Capitol Hill? And people and the Republicans don't want to influence. I wonder why they have to pad these bills with all this other stuff. You see, I'm pissed off about the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. What Justice Roberts did was gut the Voting Rights Act. I guess he said 1 or 2 Negroes can vote, so it ain't prejudice no more. So I'm wondering what it's going to look like if this, with the DOJ. I'm praying for Garland, Merrick, and his team, because they're going to have to get an airtight case, because it was Alito, sick ass, what that boy that died on the hunting trip, Scalia. He was up to some shit, y'all. That was some rough sex shit right there. I ain't taking it back for entertainment purposes only. How's a coroner? How you gonna call in his death and the coroner say, "Yep, he's dead. Yep, his ass is dead." Yeah, that was some other shit going on on that trip. Alito, Scalia, Thomas, and I forget who else, they voted in favor of gutting the Voting Rights Act. And in this day and time, we are still fighting to be able to vote. I do it because my parents were in the NAACP, and I was a little girl, and I remember when they were marching, there would be one or two ladies who would take care of all the children, and I was just praying to God that nothing would happen to my mama and my daddy, because they were being called nigger. They had people throwing shit at them. And I was terrified that something would happen to my mama and my daddy. So I fight the good fight. Maybe some young people don't understand it. They don't get it. They don't think it matters. But baby, we've come a long way. And for the ones that do, I appreciate you. Because these children, these people coming up are articulate, they're educated, they are aware. I'm not even going to use the term woke because it's been so abused by the pedophile Gates and others. It would imply that we were asleep, which is bullshit. We were not asleep, children. Our forefathers and foremothers were not asleep. They were well aware of what was going on around them. And they were willing to fight and die for it. So you may not get it now. It may not mean jack to you now. But trust and believe, when John Lewis said, just if you don't think we've come this far, just walk in my shoes. Just walk in my shoes. From the cotton fields into the house, into Congress. My husband would lock me in the bathroom so I couldn't vote. A neighbor would help me crawl out our window to vote, then help me back in the window. Wow. I bet that looked funny. Sandra, really? Really? I thank you, sister. I don't know if they killed Scalia. I believe he was doing some rough sex. I believe that Scalia was doing some Gasper shit. That thing where you want to come and feel like you're almost dying. Now, if it's good sex and you come, you go someplace dark, and when you come back, you just feel good. But I think he was doing rough sex. I don't know. And when I go into that energy, it was some sexual things going on. And nobody wanted anybody to know. So they found a coroner who pronounced him dead, and they didn't lay eyes on his body. Edwina says, I'm 70. I remember being kicked out of class in Harlem for asking why we are only in shackles on a boat. I was also kicked out of my government class because we had a teacher named Mr. Kello from Baltimore, Maryland. And he wanted to talk about George Wallace stuff, and I challenged him with some other things. And when he didn't have a good argument, he sent me to the principal's office to a round of applause. I came with an intelligent argument. If we're going to talk about George Wallace, we need to talk about racism. You don't want to talk about that. And I would just go in and speak with the guidance counselor, Mr. Cloakfield, who was a lovely man. And he turned me on to Khalil Gibran and some other books. Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn. So no, I mean, for me to go to the office, they knew something had to be wrong because I was not a kid that got in trouble. I wasn't that girl. Because in my household, you simply did not play in school. My parents were not those people. And I enjoyed going to school. I really did. I enjoyed it. Except I was a bullied kid. That part I didn't enjoy at all. Very bullied. And I remember the day I stood up to the biggest bully. And she backed down. I realized that I could probably get my ass beat, but on that day I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And my mother said to me, you're gonna have to fight, because I'm not coming up here to get your ass out of school. You're not sick. And I don't know where you get that from. You didn't get it from my side of the family, because she was a fighter. So, yeah. Now, I don't know. Some people think, they look at me and they make a judgment. They think I'm this, just to look on my face. I'm not a badass at all, but I will protect myself. After being raped, I'll kill a motherfucker if you look like you're going to hurt me. I don't even want to get it to that point. I don't want it to get to that point. Because hurt, in my mind, you're going to try to do something that could possibly end my life. So I'm going to fight like I want to live. Sue, you got sent to the principal's office over Juneteenth, punched kid over N-word, and called me. I did the same thing, really. I was in a swing. Boy didn't call me a nigger. He called me a chocolate bar. But he didn't say it like he liked chocolate. And I was on a swing. I was not the social kid. I didn't like playing the games that the kids played. I would rather find a place where I could sit in the sun and sing my songs and get me some sun and quiet, or go to the library and read a book. I didn't like jumping rope and all that shit. I didn't like it, and I didn't want to do it. And by 4, because I could read and comprehend and write, I went to a school where racism was stealth. People worked together, but when they went home, everybody went to their respective homes. And you didn't really have a whole lot of mingling of races. I didn't see it I didn't understand that shit. It was just it was just not anything I wanted to do. But because of my ability to read and write and comprehend, my teachers would send me, you know how they send you home with these mysterious notes? And they wanted to conduct some tests on me. And my mother she was not having it. Tested for what? Because we were not thought to, I guess then as in now, we were not supposed to be bright children. We were not supposed to know things. We were not supposed to enjoy education. Or indoctrination is more what it was, because I learned about Tulsa and Rosewood and other areas in the country, slavery and inventors. I learned about that at home. That was not taught in school. And there seems to be a resistance for us to be able to have that taught in schools. We were taught lies. Slavery was just a little blurb and a thing. And all of the Confederacy, all the traitors to this country were just genteel Southern men. They were traitors. How you going to form a country within a country, a union within already a union with your own president and shit? Traitors. And the sons of the Confederacy still want to celebrate their forefathers, with the exception of a few, as heroes. That's some bullshit. So we had a strawberry moon, the last super moon of the year. And I hope you all, set your intentions, said your prayers, whatever you do on a full moon. I'm always wired. And so I was up. I did set my intentions and I have my candle going. And I prayed a lot. I pray all the time anyway. It's almost like an FM radio is either going or there's a prayer going. But I think it's important that even when the moon isn't full, that we continue in our prayers and we continue to keep our intentions, our good intentions, our desires in front of us. You don't stop because it's a full moon, or you don't begin just because it's a full moon. I mean, these have been special moons. There's been a lot going on in the heavens. And I don't care what anybody says, if you don't understand that we are connected to this creation, that everything that goes on in the known universe and in the unknown universe, that we are connected to that, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, like when Mercury is in retrograde, electronics get messed up, your mind gets scrambled, it gets static. It feels like static in the air. And, let me tell you. I was asked to work in this place where I'm currently domiciled. Prayerfully in the next couple of months, I'll be out of here. But anyway, so I have a brand new respect for the hospitality children. I mean, I always try to be very nice to people, no matter what. But this is a madhouse over here, okay? I'm here to tell you. And anybody watching this from here, I mean no harm, but there's some very special children over here. Very special. And they wanted to fire my ass. Well, they wanted to fire me because I followed instructions. I did what I was told to do. And so the corporate wanted to fire me, but the young woman who is actually desirous to be the property manager says she can't let me go. So I'm just working part-time now, and hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Because I was working from 2 to 10, which is a long stretch and the most busy time. And when I tell you there'll be some characters coming up in there, I think if I could get these people to talk to me and tell me, everybody has a story here. There are people who've been here longer than I've been. And there are folks who have been displaced because of COVID and they lost their homes. Their entire families in several rooms here. When I came, I took pictures of this place when I came, and you could smell the alcohol and the tar and nicotine. It was cascading. Now this is in the middle. This is in June when the virus was at its highest and people were freaking out and scared. And I think when I did my first show from here, I was I was concerned about it. I was kind of depressed about being here. But then I got up off my ass and got some bleach and almost, asphyxiated on bleach fumes to get it clean and to make it as nice as I can while I'm here. But there are children here, and I think about the children that couldn't go out and play, and how they would, you don't, even their rooms that have 2 beds, lots of children and 2 adults. I just thought about them. And then I began as a front desk clerk. Oh my God. But people loved me there because I was sweet to them. So I have lots of little boyfriends, and there was a little lady that would come over in the middle of the night when I was working 10 to 6. She was lonely, Miss Robin, a gossip, terrible gossip child. She knew it. She would start talking about people's stuff. Oh, Lackawanna Blues, Edwina, my good friend Ronnie Law's son, Jamin, played the score in Lackawanna Blues. Wow. She would come over and bring me popcorn and treats and cookies and just stand there and just be talking. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about most of the time, but I understood that she was lonely, So, sometimes think about some of the people who live alone, the older people who live alone and are lonely. You have to think about them too. And you have to I think that you might get to a point in your life where you could be a Miss Robin, where you just want some company. She was sweet to me, and she would be, and 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., this woman would be up to 4:30. She would be up right there with me, running back and forth and coming over and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I'm interrupting you, bud." And then she'd go into a diatribe about some things. She was a trip. She doesn't live here any longer. She was asked to leave because so many people complained about her. I wish they had shown her some mercy because she meant no harm, I don't think. She was, just lonely. So I think and pray for all those who are lonely. Sometimes I get lonely, but I quickly snap out of it. I put on some banging music or something that I really dig, and I'm good. I'm good. Because if all things considered, I'm so much better off than people that I see around here every day. Every day. This is the office for all the hookers, drug dealers. There's a lot going on in these buildings, a whole lot. And the only contact I had with anybody was when I was at the front desk. I don't, I make it a point to stay to myself and to keep my business to myself. I'm not really interested in sharing. However, hi, you're my mom's friend, Lena Finney. Oh, hey, girl. Tell your mother she's got packages up in the front. I saw her name and I went to get a box. Oh, that's somebody who lives here. Her mother, I call her a butterfly. She's delightful. She also reads cards. I mean, she does an excellent job of it. So I might have her come on. I mean, she knows she's been reading for like 15, 20 years or something like that. And so, yeah, so, hey, Lena, thank you. Yeah. So it's interesting. And I keep saying that there's a comedy here. There is a comedy. I don't know how many of you watch British comedy, but they had a place called Fawlty Towers. If you ever watched any of the old British comedies, I like to use, a vintage, I would say. Fawlty Towers was a place that it was probably a lot like this, but all the characters were very rich and very eccentric. I mean, they all had shit going on, Electra, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? So I really thank the 18 to 21 of you that showed up. I really do. Thank you, Lena, for tuning in. I usually try to keep the age above 18 because a lot of times I cuss. If y'all have noticed, I'm not cussing so much. Okay. So, well, maybe it's just because I'm attempting to temper that piece, but cuss words are just so colorful. I mean, you can say motherfucker, and depending on how you say it, it takes on different meanings, So I'm attempting to get better at that, however. I really do thank you all for coming. At first, I was a little nervous. I was in the room all by myself, and I thought, well, I'm going to go forward, whether anybody comes on or not. And I saw that Becca was doing a live, and I know that she does an excellent job on the Lenormand, and she was with Karen, the lady that makes those beautiful teacups and charms and all of that. And speaking of which, I want to thank Good Vibes. I got a gift from Good Vibes. It's this beautiful little bag, and it has another little bag inside, and it has a little guy, a little partner on the inside. It's beautifully, it looks like it's like beautifully handcrafted. I love the colors. And oddly enough, I was looking for a little bag like this. I didn't see any that I liked. And she also placed inside these music charms. Here's a treble clef. Here is the triad, do, mi, sol. And here is a heart with a quarter note on it, Oh, that's an eighth. I can't remember. Anyway. Isn't that nice? I'm so tickled. It was, I just love it. So she, on Netflix has on an F word show. There was a writer. Anyway, thank you, Good Vibes, for these beautiful and thoughtful gifts. I really, really appreciate it. And I love this bag. It's really well made. I just love it. And I got a little traveling companion. This little fella, he'll be riding with me. He rides shotgun. I think it's beautiful. And it was very thoughtful because I wasn't expecting any, it just kind of came out of the blue. So I think she has a website, and I have to pull it up on the phone and put it in the chat so you can visit her site. I was just so touched. I was just so touched. Let me see if I can find her website right quick. Oh, and the other thing was, she has a channel named Good Vibes, and she's always in the chat, I guess in Johnny's chat. So if you get a chance to go to her channel, go and join her channel and show her some love. I was just so touched. I love this. I really do. Isn't it nice to get gifts that, that just because people are thoughtful? And also, if you get an opportunity, visit Red Lentil Healing, Adrian's website. I purchased some Love Come Down on Me spray, y'all. I got a pocket size. I got the Love Kit and a regular size bottle of it. You never know when a girl might need to, well, you might want your love to come down on you, You never know. And she has a lovely salve called Cracks and Crevices. It's beautiful, beautiful, very light kind of eucalyptus minty smell. It goes in your skin quickly. It doesn't, the scent doesn't linger, but it's very pleasant when you put it on. I love my gifts from Red Lentil Healing. And I just, I got a candle. Yeah, so who has cassettes? Some of my cassettes so old, afraid to play them. Girl, you still got cassettes, Sandra? Oh gosh, that's funny. Oh, Jaconda, you have the protection spray? Yeah. Well, I think there's a way, Edwina, you can replace your cassettes and change them, but even vinyl, there are collectors that will pay a lot of money for vinyl that's in good shape. We've gone to CDs now, and that's easier for me right now. I'm going to go through and read some of you. I'm glad Conscious showed up. He said he's available tomorrow. We're going to set a time. It'll be like at 4 p.m. And I hope that you all will come on and join us. It is a conversation that we need to have. We need to be conscious of how we treat. Oh, you have, Jaconda, you have cassettes too? Girl, I probably got some stashed too. I'm just not telling. I think I do have some cassettes. Thing is, I don't have a cassette player anymore. But because I don't want to throw away any music. I want you all to come back tomorrow for our discussion. We need to tighten up on how we treat each other. We really do. We really do. I think one of the beautiful things about life is that we all are as individual as our fingertips. Isn't that amazing? That in the world, there is only one of you. You might have somebody that looks like a twin or something like that. But amazing thing about the creator and the creation is that there's only one of us, that we're the only ones that have these sets of fingerprints. I think that to me is just part of the beauty of the creation. Edwina, you have 60 cassettes. Sandra says she has a Mary Kay case full of cassettes. What happened to your Mary Kay, girl? They still sell those combo duo cassette CD. I had a whole system, and unfortunately, that beautiful system was lost in storage. I mean, that's why I keep all of my music with me. I couldn't bear. I lost 2 very valuable cassettes because they not cassettes but CDs. They were still in the thing, in the player. Good thing is I can order them again. But the one thing I won't. That's probably the main reason I pay storage is because I don't want to lose any more music. And I'm looking forward to getting another sound system with all of those things. It had a turntable, it had a cassette player, it had CD player, it had great Dolby sound. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful system. I had someone who really knew about sound come in and fix it so that it was balanced and beautiful. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to getting. Yeah, I've lost quite a bit too over the years, but I'm so looking forward to finally getting into my stable home again. I really am. I know that it's going to be happening sooner rather than later. And I want all of you, if you have a feeling in your bones, just keep repeating that something wonderful is happening for you, that is happening to you and for you. Don't give up on your dreams. sometimes you got to keep that stuff close to the heart, because as soon as you share it with somebody, they can start trying to pour salt on your game. They want to say what you can and cannot do because they can't do it, So just don't give up on those things. Don't ever give up on your dream and what the spirit is telling you, because nobody else needs to know that. And especially if they're not supporting you, if they're not doing anything that enriches your life or it supports you, welcome. Welcome. So I'll be sending out the notification tomorrow when we come on. I got to go look at Davyon's email. He did get back to me. And I'm going to send out, I'll probably send it out. I think I'll send it out about 11 or so, since he's been able to set the time and everything. And I really hope you all join us. It'll be lively, educational. I hope that we get some understanding. If you get an opportunity, watch a documentary on YouTube called The Gender Code. It really is eye-opening. It's well done, easily understood. It cleared up a lot of things that it just brought the difference between gender and sex to define those things, and that all of us, these human bodies that we're in, are very complex. I mean, very complex. In the 139th Psalms, I think around the 4th verse, it says, I will praise thee, O Lord, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. We are not one-dimensional creatures. We are not. And not only do our bodies fight hard to keep us healthy, I mean, it works hard to keep us healthy, but we're just simply not one-dimensional people, and we shouldn't be attempting to live one-dimensional lives, Bootsy Collins has said, free your mind and your ass will follow. Free your mind and allow yourself to explore who you are. All of that you are. You get to a point, you get to an age where you just say, I'm going to do that. I've been through the people pleasing phase. And so now it's time for me to please myself. And you can shake it, bake it, or assalamu alaikum it. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I just really don't. I'm not the thought police. I believe in you. I want you to live the way you need to live. Now, if you're obvious out there hurting somebody, then yeah, your ass need to be stopped. Okay. I'm not speaking of that. I'm speaking of us trusting ourselves and not dimming our light or being afraid of what somebody might think or say, about us, because we dare to live in our truth. Truth is, let me say, truth is what it is. What might be true for me may not be true for you. But the real truth is we were all created in the image. It says, in Genesis, didn't it say, let us make them in our image? It uses plural. So you have to figure that there was, you're a funketeer for life. I get you. Yeah. Made it clear that there are many dimensions to each of us. And when you wake up, when you hear about what happened in Florida, when you hear about what happened in Gaza and Israel, when you hear about all of that, it reminds you of just how fragile life is. So are you going to spend it worrying about some shit? Life is to be lived. and get you some love come down on your spray. Get you some spray, girl. And open up those and spread love. That's what we need to be doing. So it's about 9:30. I've been running my mouth for an hour and a half. Look out for the notification tomorrow when Davyon from Consciouz TV will come on with me. And hopefully he'll bring two very special women on. I'm looking forward to our dialogue. I hope that it won't be our last one. I wanted to have this discussion for a long time. So I'm so pleased that he said yes. I've been listening to him for several years now, and he's a very interesting young man and a beautiful young man. I'm thrilled that he'll be on with me. So for those of you that bothered to come on tonight, thank you so much. It fluctuated between 20 and 23. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Know that I think of you all, and I go through the stream and pray for everybody that is in the stream. You are in my prayers. Shake it, bake it, assalamu alaikum. That's it, girl. Yeah, we, know that you're in my thoughts and my prayers. And I'll look forward to seeing you all in the chat tomorrow. And if any of you are interested in being moderators, let me know. Sometimes the feed is going so quickly, I don't notice who's come on and what they're saying. But some of you are very good at that. So, I don't know what it is in Atlanta. We just have these gnats. I don't have any fruit. I don't have nothing. Whoo, Jesus. Keep me near the cross with the insects. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Sweet slumber tonight, okay? Thank you so much for coming on. Peace.